All right, welcome back to Humpdays.
Welcome back, Humpers. It's the Rosellis here.
It's the Rosellis here.
With a special guest.
We have a special guest. Today, we're going to talk about how Harvey Weinstein just got out of jail, that son of a gun. But we have a special guest here to talk about it with us, Yoshi Obayashi.
Thank you for joining us. You may have seen him on Your Mom's House, on the Joe Rogan Experience, on the Comedy Mothership.
Yes.
All around LA, Austin, flying everywhere. Yeah, we're super excited to have you.
Thanks for inviting. I don't think he's released from jail.
He's not released.
I don't want to be clear.
Sorry. He got a mistrial.
Yes.
So he got a mistrial. So what happened was
It was overturned.
Wait. Is it a mistrial?
He got a mistrial. So
he applied for appeal.
Yeah.
They approved. They're going to retry him.
They're going to retrial him in September.
He was also found guilty in LA, which
I don't think that's gone to trial yet. So he's still waiting on that one.
Oh.
No. LA is done.
Oh, LA's done.
I went to that one.
Oh, you did.
Oh, you were there.
I went there.
Yeah.
It's in downtown LA, and I believe it's 9th floor. So when you get out of the elevator, there's a metal detector. You go through it, and once you go through the metal detector, there's a double door. That's the main room. That's where the O.J. Simpson case held. And if you turn right, it's Harvey Weinstein down the road. And if you turn left, it was Danny Masterson. So that particular day...
some Hollywood history
that
there.
was on the same day?
No.
We're so stupid.
Where are the blonde Rosellis?
It was so crazy because the double doors closed, but if you went to the right, it's like probably like 70, 80 feet away.
Yeah.
So you turn right, it'll be on the right hand side. That's Harvey. I went to that one.
Yeah.
If you turn left, all the way down on the left and right, Danny Masterson. You
So
could
it's
literally
like-
smell in air.
Yeah.
You know that because
We actually don't say that word. We say unlicensed pediatrician.
wow.
We want to get monetized. I'm just joking. So you had OJ in that courthouse. You had OJ. You had Danny Masterson, and you had Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
So if you're accused of a heinous crime, in that courtroom you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting off.
Oh my God, you're right. White guy's correcting my math. It was weird because I had a couple of friends who were there, so I was going kind of back and forth. Like I spent a few minutes watching.
Which
Harvey.
one was your friend, Danny? Danny or Harvey?
I went to Harvey. I was sitting there, and God, he you know what he looked like? He cut his hair. It's very like a buzz hair, short. He looked so sad.
This empire's crumbling.
I'm not being sympathetic, but he looked sad, and he looked like one of the characters from Little Rascal. And like many years later, he's older, overweight, but he's sitting there, kind of like kind of sad and like quiet,
Defeated.
Yeah, and then when I got out, when I went to the bathroom, and when I went to other side, I forgot Masterson's ex-wife. She's an actress, beautiful gal.
Is it Chloe Savini? No.
No. That level of a person, I'm blanking all of a sudden, but she's beautiful, very friendly. When you walk, hey, how are you? She was very friendly, and so I believe Harvey was found guilty, but I think Danny was mistrial. And they tried him again like 4, 5, 6 months later, and he was found guilty.
Danny?
So yeah, so I saw him standing around during break. I saw his wife. I didn't want to make eye contact because it kind of was weird, but like I was by the bathroom, but I'm like, wow, she's pretty, So I watched that whole, and I think before the show, you asked me what I thought. I wasn't really surprised because I think people who I wasn't surprised in that people who I find credible, they keep saying the 2 words, due process, And I think it seems like judge and maybe jurors and perhaps prosecution just assume he's guilty. They were going through the motion, but maybe they didn't take the case that seriously, or they gave him proper procedures.
I think what happened was that they basically, the reason why he got this whole thing happening is because 2 girls testified that had nothing to do with the case. They just said, this is what he did to me, and they let him off. So basically, too many girls testified against him, and then he got off.
I
And
think
also,
ladies, still trust the legal system. Still come forward.
I think they had to put him in because his colleagues at Nickelodeon have done much worse. They had to get him off this time.
Yeah,
Because all of his colleagues at Nickelodeon have done much worse. So if you give
And Diddy.
Harvey 23 years, then like now the bar's up here, they're gonna get 60, right? So I wonder if they're trying to bring that bar lower for what he's done.
I think, it's just reasonable to say these days, I think most people probably will admit OJ is probably guilty. And also, I think Harvey is probably guilty as well. Do I believe every single one of those accusations? I wouldn't bet my life on it.
Right.
And one of the problem was, I think one of the person who testified against them, she had like ulterior motive. I think she was trying to sell a book or a show where the main character got assaulted by some producer.
Well, this is America and Hollywood, so like everything's a grift. Like everyone's trying to make it about themselves.
Yeah.
So it's just like as soon as one person can like financially benefit themselves, and they all come out of the woodwork. Like it's like the thing with Tiger Woods. Like when one girl came out and got on CNN, all these girls started going on CNN. It's like, I want my 15 minutes. I banged Tiger Woods.
Although there probably are
like, they
a
weren't.
lot of women that are like happy about this being overturned because like imagine you were like the last woman to like go in, sleep with Harvey Weinstein for the role, and then he just like gets in jail. Like they're probably waiting. Like they're probably so excited for him to get out.
You owe me an Oscar.
So many women are gonna have jobs again.
That reminds me.
You owe me a part. You owe me a part.
That reminds me. It's the last guy that got killed trying to climb over a Berlin Wall. Like if you would have just wait a couple more days.
That's so bad. That's so true.
And what was funny about the Berlin thing too, I think the prime minister of Germany at the time, Berlin Wall's never going down. Next day fell down. So like,
Oh no,
nobody
poor
knows
guy.
anything,
Yeah.
But I think retrial doesn't mean he's going to find innocent. He could. And if he did, he still have a problem with losing in LA too, And
Right.
I get it.
Well, with everything coming out, like he's just gonna fit right back in. He's like, oh, thank God, this is all out in the open, guys. Like, let's grab a beer.
And
Let's go to the Swan. Let's go to the Ivy.
I mean, you strike me very smart and very realistic. We don't think he was the only one doing that. And,
No, I think that's the
that
whole
was
thing.
like part of a procedure getting roles for some other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was political gain. So the whole Me Too movement was coming out. So like this guy, this is the perfect person to bring down.
Yeah.
So this is like, he is guilty. The tides are changing, but people use it for their own political gains as well. It's like with any noble cause, people hop on it for their own personal gains. But with this guy coming out, like Rebecca said, it was just like, all these things are coming out now with like the Diddy freak out parties, with Epstein client list, all these people coming out and they're seeing what Weinstein got 30 years. What they did is way more heinous. Like, they're like, holy cow, let's bring that sentence back a little bit, give them like 3 or 4. So like when these guys' names come out,
It's all a strategy.
it's all a strategy. Like the legal system's a joke. Like let's be honest.
I might be wrong, but the reason I think he got in trouble more than anything, because you got to remember, like when he was running the Miramax, it was such a powerful institution, and I don't know what were they filming, like 500-600 movies a year.
The movies that they did come out would hit, and they would hit hard. Like they had Scream, they had Quentin Tarantino's movies, they had eventually Gangs of New York,
Good Will Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting. And he was so powerful with that. Like when Goodwill Hunting, so like Gwyneth Paltrow was dating Ben Affleck at the time, but before she dated Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt famously said, "Hey, if you come on to Gwyneth again, I will kill you."
Yeah.
And then she dated Ben Affleck, and then Ben Affleck thanked him in his acceptance speech.
That's crazy.
That's how powerful this man was.
Tons of them thanked Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, and I think I know I sound really cynical, but there's a limited amount of space you could do movies with, and he has so much power picking you as an actress or actor. And two, he was so successful. Well, things changed so much in the last 10 years, right? Now you have Netflix, FX, and you have other avenue. You don't necessarily have to go through Harvey to make it. And he hasn't had a lot of success till the end of his career. So I think because if he was more powerful, more success, I think people are less inclined to say anything. I think it's because when he was wounded and he didn't have the ratings and success, I think he's easier target. You know,
Blood in the water.
When you're powerful, it's hard to attack
Yeah, yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the whole Nickelodeon thing now that those guys are out of Hollywood, it's very easy to just go after them.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are.
They need a sacrifice. Like, well, the two...
You have a little scapegoat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like those two guys from Nickelodeon that they went hard after. It's just like, well, they're not even in the game
You
anymore.
said you lived near the guy who got arrested from Nickelodeon, right?
The dialogue coach. He was living in Sherman Oaks.
The one that abused Drake, right? Or no?
No, Drake got sexually assaulted physically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the other guy.
Oh,
That's how he got in the wheelchair.
I think he was fondling or sending naked pictures, whatever. But he was living. I think if I remember, he was living a couple blocks away from where I was living, and this is so bad. I moved February 3rd, 2003 to Sherman Oaks.
yeah.
On the day Phil Spector murdered that lady. I moved on LA on that day. The month and a half later, the dialogue coach from Nickelodeon got fired. But prior to that, one of my boss at the porn company that I was working for, he asked me, "Do you watch Nickelodeon?" I was like, "No, I don't have a kid. I'm not a kid." And then he showed me stuff from that show, and it's so sexualized. You know, they mistakenly
Yes.
like grows up actually pouring milk on themselves
Milking
or
a potato.
Yeah.
stuff on their
water.
face. Or
Yeah.
I told my boss, like, God, we got a lot of learning from these guys. Because they were doing with kids, like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do that, you know? Like, and I work in porn.
Yeah.
Like, some of the angles are like better than us, you know? So like, you know, so and it's a really weird thing to say, but actually there's less sexual harassment in porn business
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
because women go into business knowing their sex,
Yes.
so they're prepared for it. I think it's
Well,
difficult.
there's also like no inappropriate innuendos when like your pussy and your dick's out. It's just like
I mean, that's part of your job, so like it's understood. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I think it happens. It's far worse in outside of porn because
Yeah.
I think a lot of times these young women going to business never dealt with it. They don't know how to handle it because it's just shocking. It's unprofessional. It's not right thing to do, you know. And I think I mentioned that kid. Is it Drake?
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Drake
the
Bell.
part that really shocked me, because he didn't know what to do when he was sexually assaulted. He didn't know what to do.
we call that Cosby sweatered.
We call it what?
Cosby sweatered.
Cosby
Why?
sweatered.
Well,
Cosby
because
did it.
the YouTube picks it up, so they demonetize you. So like when you say that word, I'm gonna have to bleep it out and then put Cosby's face on your mouth.
Oh,
And the other word, I put Bill Gates' face on your mouth.
sorry.
No, it's fine. We'll do it after in post. We'll fix it in
We
post.
fix it in post. Keep going.
Yeah.
Feel free. But just so you know when you watch it back,
I
you're like,
would-
I didn't say Cosby sweatered.
I was shocked because he said he didn't know what to do because even he could talk to someone, he's not going to complain because who's going to believe him? Even if they believe him, he's going to lose his job,
Right.
right? And he said, "What are we going to do? Get out of the business and work at surf shop?" I think he said something like that in the documentary. And my response was, "Is it really that bad working surf shop?"
Right.
No, I'm not
point.
trying to be funny about it. Like, is it really that bad?
No.
And you rather get assaulted,
Raped.
right?
Well, think of like I think it's not like it's a career. So it's just like like that's the thing with LA. It's like there's not this like middle class of talent where it's just like either you're a server,
Yeah.
or you're a celebrity.
Yeah.
And even if you're a C or B celebrity, you're a celebrity, but you're always judged by that top tier.
Yeah.
So you're still looked down. You are considered a celebrity, but you don't feel like it because these people diminish you.
Right.
But you'll still feel better than being those people down there.
I know that was his first time getting assaulted, but I think something already happened prior to that. I think kids, just like young adults and older adults, we are seduced by Hollywood and this imagination dreams, you know. I think we're already seduced, and because we're seduced by this and we have this overwhelming desire to make it and be part of that, he's willing to take, because if you're not seduced by it, you wouldn't tolerate that shit. You would go to your dad and or cops and stop him, right? And I think it's really worse because I think kids are on TikTok and things like that. They just want to be famous. Mm-hmm. The famous thing that I saw was in China, most of the young people would rather be astronauts. You do something amazing with your life or create something, right? But most of the kids in America, a good percentage of them, they want to be famous for TikTok. Reality show and things like that. And I think, I don't know. It's kind of hypocritical for me to say this because I'm doing stand up or whatnot, but I don't think I want it that bad that it's okay to get assaulted, sexually assaulted and things like that. But yeah, and I think people like him and Jared from Subway, or I'm working with friends of mine who were assaulted by hockey teams when they were youth. I think they're already seduced, and I think. Do you know what I'm trying to say here? Like,
yeah.
The people who assault them knows that. Mm-hmm. Like they want that stuff so bad that even though I'm doing something terrible to them,
power tripping.
Then they're not going to get in trouble for it, and they're probably right most of the time.
Well, do you think you brought up the hockey thing though? So like that is like something that's like, okay, this guy's a gatekeeper and he's in the way of my dream, so I have to do this in order to achieve my dream. So just like put that ponytail back and just like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's. Well, unfortunately, with any type of business, where I would say even back in the day, like it's in the 60s and 70s, where one wanted to climb up the business ranks, they would do that terrible stuff to them as well. Yeah. And now in Hollywood, it was just always based on that. Sexual blackmail and doing all that stuff has always been based on that. Like,
it's kind of understood. Yeah, because I don't want to say, my friends were telling me, I just visited them in Chicago recently, and they're suing a couple of the university and certain youth hockey organization. And there was a guy who was known to sexually assault kids, and every time they get fired, somebody else will hire them, knowing their reputation. But this is not just them; it's like Catholic Church or Hollywood or
it's crazy.
Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scouts. Did you see that Boy Scout documentary?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Oh my God,
it's insane.
Yeah.
And going back to Harvey Weinstein, I was talking to one of my friends. Jewish people have this thing called Aliyah. I think I'm not saying it right, but if you're a Jewish person born outside of Israel, if you want to move to Israel, they will allow you to do that. You know what's been going on? Jewish men who are accused of molesting people or sexual assault, all some have incentive to get out of their country and go to Israel.
Yeah.
So they don't know that they're moving there for that reason. They were saying persecution of Jews, but like that could be true, but they have ulterior motive. Like you might be one of those rogue rabbi, might get in trouble soon. You're getting out of Queens, hello Tel Aviv,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I have this conspiracy. I'm sorry, it's so dark.
Go off.
So sometimes certain groups of people are arrested in Israel for doing something, sometimes for good reason, sometimes for unfairly. But you know who's the predominantly get arrested a lot in Israel, in my opinion? Young Palestinian boys. So if you have guys are moving to Israel because they want to molest kids, what a perfect combination.
Wow. That's crazy.
Welcome to our comedy podcast.
but every time I hear like grooming and stuff, it's amazing. It's I've been to Middle East many times. Like these terrorists, they're not sexually molesting kids, but it's similar. Like they're taking advantage of these kids, telling them to put a bomb, and you'll go see Allah.
Yeah,
they're taking advantage of these kids, both in terrorist business in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's everywhere, and now it's like reinforced because even with the whole Me Too movement and all of this, it's like didn't work. It's he's out, Cosby's out. Or Crosby's out.
Crosby's out. Well, you mentioned that earlier and how... Yeah, don't say Crosby. That's a Canadian hero.
Crosby is a hero.
Cosby.
Cosby is not a hero.
Well, you mentioned
but before you jump, I want to say something to Cosby. The reason he was released, because they made a deal with him, a district attorney in Philadelphia, like, if you admit that you did these things, you're not going to do any jail time. So he agreed, and he admit that he did something bad. Then when new district attorney showed up, she or he changed his mind, put him in the jail. Well, within a year, he was released because you can't make a deal and break
back
that.
out, yeah.
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 You were bringing up something earlier too about Harvey Weinstein's appearance when you saw him in court.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I know that you said that kind of made you feel bad, but don't you think that's purposeful? Like, I know that when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were in trial, she purposefully didn't wear makeup. Like, they're coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Who was it?
Oh yeah, Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon as well. If you see Vince
Coming in
McMahon
with a
now,
cane.
he has a cane now. He's walking real slow. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. With like Harvey Weinstein, he has crutches now. I think like once he if he ever gets
something
out,
about
if
it.
he ever gets out, it's gonna be like the ending of, It's gonna be like the ending of Usual Suspects, where it's just like he just walks out and he starts straightening up.
Oh, yeah.
Courtroom and just struts out. That's what's gonna happen if he ever gets off. It's like all these guys are faking it, so they get garner sympathy.
You're right. You have to have some showmanship, and you have to change your image, and you have to be relatable to.
That's why Phil Spector went to jail. He didn't change up his wigs. He still had those crazy wigs, the crazy
he can't come
madman
off
suits.
too-
He looked crazy. He was acting crazy. He said crazy. Yeah,
Off to jail.
yeah, you're right. But I have to admit, as many times I've been, you just never know what's going on. Because when I went to Ghislaine Maxwell, I thought she's going
Oh, did she try to dumb down or try to look really hot? What would be a girl perspective? Do you think
hot?
girls have to look really hot because then they won't put you away?
Amber had to look because she was the one being accused of
looked
being
sullen.
the abuser, so she had
Yeah.
to look more sullen and like she was the victim, right?
But she'll try to look pretty.
Yeah. But anyway, with Ghislaine, you were there for that too. You followed that.
I saw her
Very-
I saw her, and she didn't say anything. It's it's a risky proposition to stay in court and getting a question, so she didn't do that. But then when they found 5 out of 6 thing that she was found guilty, I was actually in the room seeing her for the first time. I saw the guilty verdict. Then when I went back 6 months, I think, for the sentencing, and when she spoke, I was really shocked. She after the victim spoke, I thought like, oh my God, I just feel nothing but sympathy, because even though they're women in like 30s and 40s, I see them as kids when they were, what happened to them.
Yeah.
And then the defense surprised us by saying Ghislaine's going to speak. When she spoke, I finally learned the word posh. She spoke in that Oxford/Cambridge education. She's such an upper class. She had authority. She really seduced you. So afterward,
Really?
I thought maybe she's innocent.
Oh my God! No way, really?
No. I mean, she
was
had-
that convincing.
She was so convincing, and I just heard the victim spoke, but I don't think they could compete the way and how she spoke. But when I read the transcript next day, she didn't even admit any guilt. She placed all the guilt on Jeffrey Epstein,
Yeah.
But I have to say, when
Makes
you
sense.
speak in authority, the way she did it, and the way, if I remember Oppenheimer when I read about him, he was so much younger than other physicists, but he was brought up very well, kind of upper class New Yorker. So he had an authority to them, and I think that's why upper class, not just they have the class money, but they were raised and have this air of authority and power that they're very convincing, that a lot of times they do get away with that.
It's like the audacity. They have
Yeah.
like the audacity,
And I think I think when you're poor and poorly educated, or you're just poor and you don't know how to talk to authority,
Yeah.
I think it's a bad news for them.
You're intimidated by the systems
Yeah.
instead of like somebody who like plays with them and plays within them.
Yeah, you
all
know the real
time,
rules. She
like-
knows the rules. She knows
Yeah.
the actual rules. She knows how to play the game.
Yeah, because
There's a
people,
game they play.
it's an illusion of rules, or not rules, I guess, but an illusion of kind of like
Laws.
laws and boundaries that only really restrict people that are the poor, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Helps that your dad's a part of the Mossad.
I know you guys are doing well. Nothing but success. You keep doing your thing. Your show get big. You'll start headlining big shows. Then you have a financial stability. And if you guys decide to have kids, let's say everything goes right, your kid or kids, your kid or your kids can live a life way better than you guys. They'll have access to other famous people. They have all kinds of other opportunities. And because they're used to dealing with very famous and very successful people, they will end up having that air of confidence, and they're more assertive asking questions. And you know, if you see interviews like when you see poor kids talking to their doctors or something, they're poor. They're not used to talking to people like that. So they're afraid to talk to them. If you're if you're a kid raised in a rich family, they're very assertive. They ask all kinds of questions, make sure everything's right. That makes a huge difference on the path of a success or no success, And if you raise kids telling authority like fuck the police, it's funny to say that, but you could do. I don't think that's a path to success.
No.
You got to learn to talk and seduce authority, just like Ghislaine was able to seduce rich people, middle class, and lower class.
Yeah.
And
it's not like they're just that much smarter or they've figured it out. It's exactly what you're saying. It's like
they
have that
experience.
Well, that's how they take advantage of people. So like she comes for it. I wouldn't say it's so much a class thing. I think it's so much as like she if a kid grows up feeling safe,
Yes.
then they're more curious. They feel that it's okay to ask questions.
100%.
When you come from an unstable environment, that's when it's like you're afraid to talk. You don't know what's going on. You're just trying to take everything in.
That's
and not really
another
trying to
thing, the fear
misspeak.
of no
So that's
net.
what she took advantage of. She knows how to talk. She knows what this person's going through. So she's like, that's how she took advantage of people that come from an unsafe environment.
I'm sure when you go to open mic shows, a lot of these young kids, you could tell right away which one comes from home with a lot of love and which one do not come from that, because a lot of them probably didn't come from that.
Otherwise, why would we do this?
Yes.
But, I mean,
Well, they tell
I
you
have
in
a
their set
loving
too.
home.
Like, some of them tell jokes and some of it is a therapy session.
It's a bit of a mix. It's
a bit
like
of a mix.
other, But I mean, I think we're almost at time. But
All right.
I mean, do we want to say like if we think he's?
Oh, he's guilty. He's guilty.
or-
I don't think.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna walk free?
I have a hard time believing he's going to win one in New York, and then also able to get a appeal in LA.
Do you think he has enough money to send a body double to jail?
I mean, all practical purpose, I think. Did you watch the show, The Wired or
Yeah,
The
totally.
Shield?
The Wire, yeah.
Who? Oh my God, who was the main?
McNulty?
No, the main villain. He actually got away with it. He became a businessman at the end of it.
Yeah.
yeah,
But he
yeah,
couldn't.
yeah.
He couldn't get away from the streets. Fuck, what
He
was
couldn't
it?
get away with the street. And he's wearing suit, and it's the last in the wire. He was able to get out of all the legal problems.
Yeah.
He has all the money, and as he's walking down the street, he get robbed by they're trying to rob him, some young thugs, and he was able to beat them up. They took away. He got stabbed. He kind of smiled because
You love the
that's
streets.
what he enjoyed. Let's say Harvey is released, he's never going to do shows in Hollywood. I don't think that's.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
no matter whether he's in jail or not, the thing that he did really well, the thing he was known well for, that's gone forever. It's like
Yeah.
when I heard.
Well, he might start up a podcast.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Time for a podcast.
It's just like I would have read OJ's book
Okay,
if I did it.
Yeah, the one he wrote is
You prove
garbage.
you prove me wrong on that one.
But you're right that
but you're
it's
right.
gone. Like that's true. What is he even kind of?
Yeah, it's like I just want to end by saying like, I'm friend with Patrice O'Neal's manager. When he had a stroke, he told me I wasn't supposed to tell anyone, and most people didn't know about it. And by the time we realized left side of his brain, that he was no longer able to speak. Can you imagine Patrice not able to speak?
Oh wow.
That's a death sentence anyway, no matter how you looked at it, So
Yeah. He's got to take.
no matter what happened, we just like a movie. He knows this is going to have one of those sad movie ending.
Yeah.
He's shunned by his colleagues. He's probably not going to get to spend time with his ex-wife and kids. So
No leverage for molesting.
Yeah.
he'll fight through whether win or loss. I think
Older. Yeah.
it's I don't think he's going to have a
He's
like
kind
a
of
mean.
gotten a punishment either way.
Yeah.
I
It's
guess.
already
Yeah.
he's getting punished.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's
So-
going to his funeral.
Yeah.
Well, we were so happy to have you
Yeah.
on today.
And
Thanks
you're
for
going
being
on.
on.
You're going on
out.
tour with
Yeah.
Russell Peters.
You're in, yeah.
No, I'm doing a couple shows.
Couple shows, yeah. Doing a couple
So
shows.
I'm supposed to be down in Miami Improv, I think, like
Miami Improv.
23rd, 24th. It's like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then following week, I think I'm going to be in Phoenix with him, like last week of May, June. So
And
I
what
think
social are you on? Follow. Tell
just
them.
Instagram, Yoshi Obayashi. Somebody stole my Twitter account, so I don't have one anymore.
Oh no.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
so
on our
much
show.
for coming
We
on.
love
We
you.
really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
coming on our
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the show, and you guys have always been nice. Thank you. Thanks, Audrey. That was quick.
Was